Hi, this is Sudip Ghose, and I am the founder of Eastwood Accessories, owners of Uppercase brand.
Have you heard of the phrase revenge travel? It was coined after the lockdowns lifted. And the implication was that people have not been able to travel for 2 years and will now make up for it by traveling like never before. And while this trend means costlier flights and crowded airports, it has also proven to be a major boost for Uppercase, the D2C luggage brand launched by Sudip Ghose, who is the former managing director of India's largest luggage company, VIP Industries. Sudeep is a luggage industry veteran, having worked in leadership roles with luggage companies for more than a decade. And in this candid conversation with Akshay Dutt, he shares his journey of becoming an entrepreneur at such a late stage in life and how he fundamentally changed the business model of the luggage industry by using smart technology. Stay tuned and subscribe to the Founder Thesis podcast on any audio streaming platform to learn from India's finest founders.
Could you give an overview of your non-entrepreneurial part of your career before becoming an entrepreneur?
I started as event marketing guy when actually event marketing was not even in fashion. It used to be a small agency organizers back in Calcutta, sometime in 1996, 96, yeah. And while working there, I understood that it's something which interests me, especially the creative field. And I got an opportunity to work with Bosch and Long. I was there, what currently is called trade marketing. At that time, used to be called sales promotion. And I was given charge of south of India. And that's where I left my hometown Calcutta for the first time at the age of 24, I think, if I remember right. Slowly, I worked from marketing to sales, and then I changed organization, went to Whirlpool. There, I joined again as a trade marketing guy, and I moved to proper marketing, wherein I launched the microwaves for Whirlpool at one point of time. Then from Whirlpool, where I spent about 4.5 years, I switched to Mark Electronics, a popular brand called Onida. There again, I spent. So in Whirlpool, I did a lot of product marketing. In Mark Electronics, I did a lot of communication, which is advertising and media. And that actually made me a full-time marketing guy. I already had sales experience in my previous roles in Bosch and Long. That somewhere I kind of got into Reliance. I was part of the ADAG group, worked there for about 2 years. And then I got an opportunity to get into luggage business, which initially was something that I declined. I actually had said no to the job, but somehow my boss then convinced me that it's a good opportunity. So I quit Reliance and joined Samsonite and spent about 5 years in Samsonite. We launched and relaunched some great brands. And then I was given an opportunity to work with VIP, the competition. I took a 6-8 months break, and then I came and joined VIP for about as my head of marketing, and slowly worked myself up as to the position of CEO and then eventually managing director. I ran that company for quite a bit, and was one of my best phases of my professional career, not the entrepreneurial career. I think that is a new phase which has started for me. But yeah,
You had told me that at VIP you played a role of like a turnaround expert. Just tell me about that.
so when I joined VIP as the marketing head, they were going through some difficult times, and one of the things that I realized is they had too many brands, and all of them looked and did the same thing. So they were cannibalizing against each other. Also,
What were those brands?
so VIP has about five brands. It has VIP, it has Skybags, it has Aristocrat, it had Alpha at that point of time, it had Caprese, and it had Carlton. So six at that point of time. And everybody was doing the same thing, and it was cannibalizing. So first and foremost thing I did was I cut down Alpha. I said we don't need that brand. And I realized that if I touch VIP brand and if I go wrong, then the organization will collapse. So think of a building which is standing on a pillar, and if you want to be safe and make the building straight, what you do is you build different pillars to support. So the first thing that I did was I changed the way Skybag looked, repositioned the brand as a youth brand, and created a very strong pillar. And suddenly Skybag became as big as VIP. Then I took Aristocrat, and then that also became a lower end brand where we created the second pillar. Then we created Carlton, which also came in to support. So we had a brand at the top, which was Carlton. We had a youth brand, which was Skybags. We had a lower brand, which was Aristocrat. Once that were done, then we revamped VIP into a different style. And that is where the organization got humongous response from the consumers. Suddenly, instead of having one gun firing, we had five, six guns firing from all sides. And therefore, we started doing very well. We were a listed company. The share prices went on off from about 60 rupees to about 627 if at one point of time. So it's like
Amazing. 10x growth. Okay.
10x growth, the value got added. During my tenure, the organization touched $1 billion. $1 billion was not so easy to get the way we are these days. And I guess all of this put together had a wonderful impact in not only the market, but overall people who work here. The attrition rates were very, very low. And I think that has been a great learning and an opportunity for me to turn around a very traditional organization into a mammoth leader. In fact, I must say that globally, if you see, Samsonite is always number one across all countries, except for India. In India, Samsonite is number two. And that
What is number one?
VIP industry is number one. VIP is about 60% market share, while Samsung at the point of time had about 35. So that's the kind of dominance we had, and we did not allow a multinational to come and get the market because
VIP is a manufacturer also, like they make everything in-house, or
yeah, everything is manufactured. VIP has factories in India, factories in Bangladesh. We also buy stuff from China. When I started to go VIP only used to make about 30% of what they sold. When I left, it was 70% of what they sold. So I guess there's a huge, and therefore, if you see on the gross margin, there was a bump because the manufacturing margin, we started doing things on our own, and the manufacturing margin also went into the bottom line. It changed from a trading to a manufacturing organization when I was at that organization. Yes.
amazing. So, what sells suitcases? Is it like distribution that if you are present everywhere, then your suitcase will sell, or is it celebrity endorsement? Is there a seasonal effect? Help me understand this market a little better.
Yeah. So I have this favorite line. I say, as people eat, sleep, drink, people travel. And when people travel, they need suitcase, they need luggage. The luggage demand is now throughout the year. But yes, there are spikes, and the spikes in India happens primarily because of wedding and of holiday travel. For backpacks, obviously, then there is school season, which is something that I introduced. And like our industry never made backpacks. I first introduced backpacks in Samsonite and the kind of went introduced it. Then when I shifted to VIP, we got Skyback doing the same. We used to sell, the last number I remember, we sold about 4 million bags in one season for Skybags. It's the far most highest ever that we did. I think 4.3 million units we sold There are spikes, but people buy luggage because people travel. And as long as people will travel, people will buy luggage.
Mm-hmm. But what drives sales for a company? Is it important to pricing, distribution, branding?
Over last 1.5 or 2 decades, I've seen a huge transformation from luggage being a commodity buying when people never cared. I have seen people in business class wearing the best of brands but carrying an unknown brand of luggage to today where luggage has become an accessory like your specs or the sunglass or the watch that you wear. A lot of effort has gone in by various brands to create it, and I think the consumer understanding and outlook towards the category has changed quite a bit in the last decade or so. So today luggage sells because of features, because of its weight, because of its toughness, because of its design. Consumers pick up luggage for various reasons. The ones that I just said are the ones which are the top couple of reasons why they buy. As far as price is concerned, there are two segments. There is still a segment which is very conscious about price, but then there is a segment who will buy a good luggage at a great price. So it's a mixed bag, but definitely design, performance, and price are the three most important aspect of any luggage buy.
You were running a $1 billion business at VIP. What made you want to quit and start something in that same industry? What prompted that journey into becoming an entrepreneur?
That was COVID. I'll be very upfront. Prior to COVID, I was running a great company, doing wonderfully well, great brands. Two things happened during COVID. COVID got the e-com sector going in a big way. We are primarily a e-com driven company, and e-com grew in 6 months what otherwise it would have grown in 10 years. So that opened a huge opportunity. COVID also taught us that every business that we've been doing could be done in half the cost, or maybe you know 1/3 of the cost. Um,
Give me an example. Help me understand this.
uh, COVID taught us that we don't need 29 offices, we don't need 20 crores of travel, we don't need 8,000 people to run an organization. We need change the mindset of a lot of people, including me. And I think I felt that there's an opportunity for somebody to do the same business in the same industry very differently than what it's been done by the rest of the guys. Because in VIP, I couldn't have changed because there's only that much you can do for a mammoth ship, which is already floating and doing very well. While if you go back and start creating your own ship, uh, it you can do things the way you want to do. I did not need a job to survive. I had reached that position, and I could take the risk that I took because yes, over the years I have been able to financially secure me and my family to a large extent. So all of these factors put together, and obviously the biggest thing is to create something for yourself and for the team that is working with you. Uh, it's a different high altogether. When I quit, I was, I think, 48. I said, this is the time to get into it and see if, somebody believes in us. Fortunately, a lot of people believed in us and our vision, and it started.
So, okay, you said that you realized that there is a better way of building a luggage company. What is that better way? What are those things which you felt you needed to do differently?
It's quite simple. Typically, a luggage company has a gross margin of about 55%. But if you say 55%, it's if you see the EBITDA, it's about 13-14%. I want to create a company with a 50% gross margin and a 30% EBITDA. keep the costs down, uh, operate with a very slim and trim organization, and use as much technology as possible. Because today, technology, you can enable your entire supply chain, your entire sales team. Uh, we hardly travel, built in algorithms where we exactly know when to advertise, what to advertise. These help us to conserve cash to a very large extent. I am a firm believer that if you are into business, you need to make money. Uh, and I don't understand making losses and getting valuations. I do firmly believe that even if I'm making 200 crores or selling 200 crores, I need to make a 60, 70 crore of profit. If I don't, then I'm not a good businessman.
So tell me the journey. So you quit VIP. You are now without a job. How do you start building up Ace4?
So the journey started much before I quit VA. The journey started the day I walked to my wife to say I'm going to quit. That is when the journey started. Initially, it was a shock for her. A good job, especially a corner office job, not only brings a big paycheck, but it also brings social recognition for both you and for the individual and the family. My kids came to our office. We were building a very small office, and they walked into the store. There was a small kitchen which was used by the previous tenant, and we turned that into my room. And a very small room if you come to your office today. And my kids came and they said, "Dad, where is your office?" I said, "This is my office." They looked at me and said, "How come?" Because my previous office was as big as the entire office that we have. I also realized that the world also starts seeing differently towards you. I truly believe is jobs will give you great savings. Great job will give you great saving. Bigger job give you bigger saving. But if you're an entrepreneur, you can actually create wealth. To create wealth, you need to take that risk, let the safety net go, and see where you fall. I've been dragging my family all over the country, so this was one more time, but I said no. We'll operate out of Bombay. The first thing that we did after I quit, after I got relieved from VIP, is to take a holiday. I quit on 31st of January 2021. 5th of February is our anniversary. It was during COVID. So all four of us took a holiday, and it's the best holiday that I had. I had no tension, nobody were calling me, no board meetings to be planned. And once I came back, then it kind of slowly started sinking in that you're on your own. It's scary. But yeah, then I kept meeting people. Made a first presentation. I kept meeting.
Meeting people for a fundraise, like you wanted to.
I was very fortunate to meet a gentleman called Mr. Arnav Mondal, who later became my CFO and co-founder. So I met him, and together we created the PPT. And the interesting part is I started going out looking for funds when the second wave of COVID was hitting India. I very clearly remember my first presentation to a merchant banker or a fund manager was 20th March 2021. It was very, very scary. The world was shutting down. And here I was trying to open a travel business. And I didn't expect that I would get the funds so fast. So I actually was lucky. What really played for me was the fact that I have been well recognized in the industry on which I was trying to get into. Only I was trying to do the business in a different way. And therefore, it was not very difficult for me, let me be very truthful, to raise I was trying to raise $1.5 million to start with as a seed money. I got a very, very good valuation at that point of time. And we raised it in about 2 months' time. By June, actually, the money had to come into the banks. And then things started rolling. So, yes.
You must have had like a sequence that let's build first supply, then let's build the marketing engine and branding and all of it. Tell me that, like how, each of those.
So, first thing that we did was to find a name for the brand and what would the brand stand for and what exactly would we like to do. The name was very interesting. We found the name. We found the name Uppercase. And it's very nice. If you see the brand, it's called Uppercase, written in lowercase. So a lot of people have smiled looking at the brand. Some people have said that they made a mistake. What is uppercase in this? I said, good that you asked. That's the whole point of making it that way. For us, it would mean that we are upper in the case business, while everybody else is lower. So that was the rationale behind it. So the name came first. Then we built a financial model out of what we want to present and where do we want to reach in 3 years, 5 years time. What kind of products we wanted to do, because our products are very, very different from what. So it was not available. We had to kind of create some products and show. So that's how we went to the first fund, and the first fund gave us, which is our first fund was the fund called Colorado, which is an offshoot of the Inam Group. So they were the first to kind of believe in us and put in a large sum of money. And the advantage was the rest. So they put in close to about 1 million, and the 500,000 came in from all my ex bosses. That's very interesting. All my ex bosses put in money from my various organizations, from Washington Long to my boss, who was at that point of time, who was my ex boss in Samsonite. So all of them put in money. So that also gave me a lot of satisfaction that people who have been my mentor have kind of come together and believed in me. I had some good angel investors. And the way you choose an angel investor is not just for the money, because these are the people with whom you can bounce off your ideas and then tell you with real time good advice. And then the other thing that we did is bet very well on people right from day one. In fact, in my entire model, the only risk that I've taken is people. Our people cost is very, very high, but we have taken it so that these number of people initially will be high because obviously my turnovers are very low. But these are the people who will deliver far larger numbers in once the business sets in.
As in, you hired like a head of technology and a head of procurement and
Exactly. So first thing that I did was I added a couple of co-founders, because if you make it big, then they need to make big, And all of them quit some very, very good and serious portfolios that they were handling and came and started working with us. So they all hold a percentage of the company. Then we also took in some senior people in various functional head. We have head of procurement, we have head of sales and marketing. Head of sales and marketing is a gentleman who created cards, women fashion, and luggage business. He knows how to do e-com. We picked up the retail and GL trade head of a very large shoe company who had worked with me earlier in VIP. We picked up a very good procurement head. The first team that I actually employed was the design team in the organization. So we got the design head, and the 4 design people came in, and we started working on it because we wanted to show when we went for the pre-series A round, we had the products ready. Products ready in the sense not gone into production, but yeah, we had actual products from last when we had gone, we had created visuals. This time it was actual products which were there. So yeah, now we are a team of about 28 people currently. And we probably will be 30 by the end of this year, and this 30 will deliver that 100 crores.
how did you sell your first, like, say, first 1,000 pieces of luggage? Like, what was the process of doing that? How did you source it? What channel of sale did you use? And
So we are primarily the e-com based company. We are now getting into offline because my equity in offline is very high, and I have been, the dealers and the distributors have themselves approached and say, I would like to sell your product. We're figuring out how to sell the same product online and offline. My first 1,000 pieces got sold in marketplace. So we don't sell to e-com, we sell on e-com. There's a difference between it. Most of the companies go and sell to e-com, which means they sell to the e-com platforms. We sell on our own. So
like the seller services, like Prion or whatever this.
yeah, And that helps us to control and manage the price. And that's what we would like to do going forward also. And we operate in all.
So when you sell to e-com, in that case, you don't control the price and all. Like they will negotiate a price with you.
You don't control the price. They come and after that, you go control the what price at this sell. So that is very scary. Suddenly, they might give you a very deep discount wherein your brand and the other channels might get impacted. We were very clear from day one that we will sell on e-com and not sell.
Because they are taking the inventory risk there.
Yes. Here the inventory risk is totally us. We pay a charge to them, which we are very happy to pay. And that way we manage pricing across the board. The flip side of it is I don't get large volumes immediately, but over the period I build our technology and our backend to ensure that we do sales. And currently we are doing pretty well.
Why don't you get large volumes immediately if you're selling through e-commerce rather than selling to?
Yeah. So when you sell to somebody, you can stack up, right? Initially, you can stack up.
Okay, so they'll straight away buy like say 10,000 or 1,000 or something.
Yeah, 10,000 pieces, 10,000 or 20,000 pieces. I will take X number of days to sell that. But what happens is when you sell to them and it doesn't sell out, then you get stuck. So you will have initial numbers, but going forward, it will become very difficult. In our model, our initial numbers will be lower, but going forward, it will be very, very smooth. So that's how the planning is.
Is there also like you were selling through e-commerce? Like, how did you build the supply for it? Because obviously you would not be manufacturing at this stage.
So now we have no contract manufacturing, exclusively manufacturing for us. We have got close to 4 factories now, churning out products that we want. We do the quality design, everything is ours. They provide manpower and the machines to make the products that we want. That has been a very, very good model, and we would like to continue with that for some time.
And where are these factories? Like,
so we have one in Uttarakhand, two in Gujarat, and one in Maharashtra.
All in India. Okay.
Or everything is India. Everything is India.
Wouldn't China be cheaper? Like,
no. Two things. One, the entire sustainability, I would rather control here in India. Second, with China, the lead time becomes very high, and I've operated China for almost all my luggage life. So I exactly know how China operates. And if you ask me, then buying from China is easy, but then it comes with various other issues, which I feel is much more avoidable if we do from India. India now, in the last first 6 months, we had major issues in terms of getting the right product from the right factory. But now I knew that after the initial pain, this will become a big advantage, very, very big advantage. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are operating with very reliable sources, which with whom we have betted big. And we want to deliver the best of products made in India.
So you're saying that if you source from China, then it reduces your agility. Like if you want to change designs, then it will take a few months for the new set of designs. And
that is one. Second, they send the design to somebody else. Sometimes.
Okay. You use your intellectual property.
Yes, and we are in the business of selling luggage, not the business of getting into litigation. And these litigations lead nowhere. It's better off that you have your control. And today, post-COVID, things are not very good there itself, and we are well off doing things in India.
Right. Plus, in India, the balance of power would be better. Like for China, you are one of many buyers, and for India, you are probably like a major buyer for that vendor.
Exactly. For the vendor that we have, we buy everything they make. We're the only buyer to them. So I control everything there. It's almost like having your own factory.
And how did you drive sales on Amazon? Was it like through marketing inside Amazon itself, or did you also do other stuff too?
So there are two parts to it. There is a portal advertising, which is very important, which is advertising on Amazon. We also have created algorithms to know when to advertise, which day part to advertise, what sales for backpacks and and the very amazing data that we have.
What is the way of thinking about it? Like a little bit of maybe breadcrumbs you can share.
It's purely by reading the data. We first and foremost put in a system which can read the data faster, and way the movement happens, the way footfall happens. So we read the data, and then we test it with a small amount, and once it starts working, we put in money behind it. So for a startup, usually people say the ROS, the return on advertising spend, is about two. You should between 2 to 3 or 2 to 4. It is very good the first 2 years. On the sixth month, we have hit a 3.8. So it's something that whoever is hearing, uh, they are all listening. How are you doing it? And I keep saying it's my secret sauce. I don't want to give it out. So yes, it's a lot of
So this means that every 1 rupee you spend on advertising gives you 3.8 rupees of revenue.
it. Yes, revenue. Yes. That's exactly what it means. So that's my last month. This month we intend to make it even better. My target is to make it 1:1:5
Oh, 15. Okay.
in the first year. 1:5. I'd love to get it to 50, which will happen someday. But yeah, as of now, we're targeting 50.
And you're doing it on like the usual Google AdWords, Facebook, like these channels.
All of that. Now we are getting into offline. We just had a huge media understanding between various companies to see how we would do a bit of offline advertising as well, because now we are going offline in terms of trade. Institution is very big. Even today, the reach of television is very high. That's what the numbers are saying.
You said institutional. What is institutional? Like, what is that?
It's a B2B sales, like, you sell it not to the end consumer, to an institution, and then they sell it to, and then they give it to their employees. Computer companies, for instance, you buy a laptop, you get a bag free. Along with it, why can't it be an uppercase bag? And since we are sustainable, it's something that their team would also like, because we are the only company who can give that proposition which no other company in India can give. Overall brand awareness is key.
Okay. So why don't you want to do modern trade? And just for our listeners to clarify, so general trade is like the shops which you go in your local market.
Modern trade is mom and pop stores with large chains like Shoppers Stop or
Reliance and
Reliance and Centrio and all the others that's there. The cost of doing business in modern trade is very, very high. They operate on consignment. They want us to put up people. Margin. They want large margins. Uh, those are killing, especially putting up your own people. I don't want to get into that.
so modern trade will give you large numbers, but at the cost of margin.
Not exactly large. It's not like they are running away with all the business. Um, Even in VIP, the general trade is still quite much more bigger than the modern trade. But yes, in a crux, what you said is right. They will give you top line without the bottom line.
Which all product categories have you launched?
We have already launched backpacks and soft luggage. We are further adding hard luggage. There are various types of backpacks. We only have college backpacks, and we're just launching professional series, which are office going bags. They also look very different. They're not the regular black and the blues of the world, and not the regular shapes actually. Silhouettes are very, very different. We would be launching hard luggage now. So our SQ count is going to be very, very small. We're going to operate with a very, very tight SQ count. We'll be launching another couple of hard luggage and the school backpacks sometime next year. So that's the plan that we have as of now.
So I was under the impression that hard luggage is probably what sells the most these days, right? So why did you start with soft luggage? Like, why not do hard luggage, which is, I'm guessing that is like a bigger part.
Yes, absolutely. It's not that we did not try, we wanted to, but as I said, all our products are recycled. And for hard luggage to make us recycle hard luggage, it's difficult. We have to try out various combinations, and now finally we got the right combination with which the luggage will also be sustainable, yet it will withstand the large amount of force that will not crack. And that itself took us at least 7 to 7.5 months to figure that one out, which we have now. We've already given one for patent for it. Uh, Therefore, we are now producing. Secondly, unlike in soft luggage, the investment to make a hard luggage plant is much higher. So we also had to find somebody who would trust us and put up a factory, which now we have.
And hard luggage is made from recycled plastic bottles, like PET bottles. Is that the
Part of it is recycling plastic that you're already generating, because when you're producing something, a lot of wastage that you do, and you bring those wastage back into production of the new one. And also add, you also need to add an X amount of virgin material, otherwise the strength of the luggage will not be there. So yeah, it's a mix of three different things: the PET bottle, the recycled plastic that you have already yourself generated, plus a bit of virgin to it to make it strong, and to the idea is to bring the virgin down as much as you can and keep increasing the recycled and the PET bottle piece to a large extent. That's what we are trying to do. But as I said, you cannot. It's like having a car, and if it doesn't move, then no matter how electric car you have made, people will not buy it. So if you're making a luggage, it has to be strong enough for the consumer to feel safe to put his products or her products in it.
does sustainability sell luggage?
No, currently no, but tomorrow it will,
Why do you feel that way?
because people consumers are changing in a big way. And also the way we see it is we have huge amount of international aspiration. And the way we see it is, next once we stabilize our India business, then we probably start looking into international markets, because their sustainable travel is a big thing. The same products can go with a little bit of tweaking. And in today's time, there it will be purely a digital brand. We don't want to put up offices, we don't want to put up, but we just need a third party shipping partner, and we'll use all the technologies that we are using here to operate in those countries. So the model have changed. So it becomes easier for any company to become a global company now, if they think technology and if they think little out of the box than what the usual thinking about international multinational brands are. But I feel India can produce a multinational brand, both from quality and from uh, the perceptive greatness of a brand is concerned.
Cool. What is the turnover you do currently, and what do you see yourself ending this year at, like in terms of your monthly revenue?
We started in the month of July, 15th of July. Uh, the 15th of January.
2022.
Yeah, we had 2022. We are in January 23. So July, August, September, November, December, January, just 6 months old. We've already hit an annual run rate of about 24 crores. The way we are seeing it is, we would like to hit next year, do anything between 60 to 80 or 100 crores. Let's see how it goes.
And do you need to raise more funds to hit that 80-100 crore?
We might need to raise funds a bit in between, because I'd like to do some advertising. We would only raise after we hit a certain run rate. I want to hit a ARR of close to 70, 80 crores before I actually go out to the market, because I don't want to dilute our company any further than it's already. Because the first two rounds have been pretty severe on us. It's not to. I don't believe in uh, holding gives you control. I think competency gives you control. So I have no issues of letting go of the company uh, when we need money. But yes, I would like to let go of as less as possible, and for that I need to prove certain numbers to the industry and to the funds, and that's what I would like to do before I actually go out looking for funds.
Cool. So you had like a 20 plus year corporate career before you became an entrepreneur. Any advice to people in like a similar state of life?
You may be a swimmer, but you are a swimmer which you are swimming in a pool or a pond. Are you ready to swim in a river and ocean? ask this question to yourself. It's a different ballgame. Point one. The second question that you have to ask is, if you fail, what is it that you are going to lose? That's the second question that you should ask yourself. Third, please ensure that you are financially quite secure for at least 24 months before you get into something, because it's a very harsh world out there, and not having a paycheck is scary. I would say secure yourself for at least a 36 months kind of a situation, because you would need that much of firepower. And the fourth and the most important thing is, sit with the family, talk to them, be very blunt and be very truthful of what are the changes that is going to happen, not just financially but also socially. As I said, every job brings in a certain amount of social fabric. So these are the things that you should do, and then believe in yourself. I think it's a very cliche thing to say, but uh, trust me, when time comes, sometimes you wonder, and that is the time when you really have to believe in yourself. The advantage of coming, also let me say, advantage of getting into entrepreneurship at a later stage is, you would have made a lot of mistakes, you would have learned from them, and you will not make them when you're running your own ship. So that's a good thing, and a very very important thing, because you have learned at the cost of somebody else, and use that learning to progress further. So that's my advice, and you should go for it if you are.
Yeah, I think the advantages are tremendous. A lot of your success, I would say, comes down to two things. One is your uh, ability to judge, that judgment skill which gets honed over the decades that you have spent in terms of judging what product to start, how should it look like, what design, what channel to start with first. And so that judgment has got developed. And second is deal making. Like, you have made these deals with these factories who are producing exclusively for you, which gives you a great advantage, which somebody who's like a 20 something person starting off would not be able to do this kind of deal making which you're able to do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You understand the consumer, you understand what sells.
Yeah, and the risk is limited, but yeah, there is always a risk.
And that brings us to the end of this conversation. I want to ask you for a favor now. Did you like listening to this show? I'd love to hear your feedback about it. Do you have your own startup ideas? I'd love to hear them. Do you have questions for any of the guests that you heard about in this show? I'd love to get your questions and pass them on to the guests. Write to me at ad@thepodium.in. That's ad@thepodium.in.